I just got out of the shower, and it's a very sunny day today here in San Francisco. And I just wanted to quickly talk about a band that I've been listening to. It's called Chvrches, Chvrches, Chvrches. I really wanted to bring. I've been listening to some of their songs. I would throw it on here, but if you're interested, you can go check them out yourself. I am going to go do my video on purpose. I think I know exactly where I'm going to go. I'm going to get something to eat first, though. So, surprise. Oh, and another note, my razor is still in Corvallis too, so I'm waiting for that. So there's this place here on San Francisco that sells, it's called the Juice Shop, as you can see from this. I got lemon apple, but this bottle here and this amount of juice, which really isn't all that much. I think it's probably about, let's see what it says here. It says 16 fluid ounces, which is a little surprising given its size, but it tastes amazing. It actually really does taste really good, especially since I really like lemon. But this bottle cost me a little, I think it was like $11.50, which is a little surprising. So I don't know how sort of national this brand could really get. And I'd really like to see how they handle their costs, but I'm going to sit here and enjoy this. And then if you return the bottle, you get $2 back. So it's kind of a neat business model because you buy the juice, then you drink it, and then you return the bottle for $2, which is a pretty hefty reward. But then you're probably there, so you get another one. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to get cash back. Cash back. So I'm about ready due for another meta video where I kind of go over what I've been learning, just like talking about video making basically, rather than anything else. One thing I did want to just mention right now, I think I'm going to do that in the next few days. But I did want to just mention, because something just happened that I really wish I had gotten on camera. And I'm sort of, now that I'm like in the video mode, and it's kind of in the back of my mind, I'm frequently just kind of kicking myself because things will happen and I didn't catch it on camera. That's it. I am at the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco, and this place is breathtaking. I was thinking about sort of doing my landscapes views that I do in some of my other photos and sort of showing it off. But this place is so impressive that I really don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't been here themselves yet. And I definitely recommend it. So I'm just going to kind of walk around. Oh, here behind me you can actually see some other people filming. So I'm going to make sure not to bother them. This is also, you can kind of see how the wisdom of masonry was so protected in the sort of early Roman times and Greek culture and stuff like that, because the structures here are so impressive. Like when you look at a house, you can kind of imagine how it's built. You can kind of see the boards, and you can kind of see the paint, and you can kind of imagine how you might build it. You may not be able to do it, but you can kind of imagine it. But a place like this is just, you cannot imagine someone building it. It's just pure specialized knowledge. So while I'm here, I thought it would be a great place to talk about the subject I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and that's purpose. And the reason I want to talk about it is because once I sort of got a really kind of firm understanding of what purpose really means as far as human living, and as far as by understanding what purpose is, how I can change just the way you live day to day. I kind of been thinking about it a lot and mixing it over in my mind, trying to figure it out in every real dimension. And the way I see it, there's really kind of a few ways to think about purpose. Like the first way is sort of like the long-term life purpose, and I'm not really going to talk about that too much. Life purpose is just sort of like what you want to do with your entire life. And something like that is just hefty, and that should be decided by any individual on their own. And the second way of thinking about purpose is sort of like a goal, right? Like, like child rearing, so for 20, if you have a kid for 20 years, your purpose in this sort of second way of thinking about it is to raise that child. You have all these other things going on, and you've sort of made it your purpose to raise that child. If you work, then your midterm purpose is to do your job. But what I really want to talk about is this third way of thinking about it, and that is that basically every moment that you exist, like the moment right now, whatever I'm doing at that time is my purpose, or whatever. So if you go to McDonald's and you order a two cheeseburger meal, then while you're consuming that, that's actually your purpose, if that makes any sense. And if it doesn't, I'm going to keep talking until it does. So right now, my purpose in the moment is making this video. Like, I have no other purpose right now. I'm doing that. And when you're doing the laundry, that's your purpose. And this really kind of becomes a bit profound when you realize the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. So, I mean, when you're lying on the couch, that is your purpose. When you're sleeping, that is your purpose. So at any moment, you're always inevitably living out your purpose in this way of thinking about it. Now, thinking about purpose in this dimension has changed my life, because when you combine it with the other ways of thinking about purpose, like let's say a goal, right? Let's say it's my goal to go to the gym every day, which it is right now, at least for a little while. So right now, my goal is to go to the gym every day. At any moment, I'm either in alignment with that goal, that purpose, or I'm not. So by redefining this sort of idea of purpose to whatever you're doing at any given moment. So right now, my purpose is making this video, right? You can kind of see your life in a different light, because it puts a huge amount of emphasis on whatever you're doing in the moment. At this very moment, if you're watching this video, and you pretty much have to be if you're right here, right now, listening to me, your purpose right now is watching this video. And don't turn me off, by the way. Don't do it. Don't do it. No. I'm just cracking myself up. And this idea of purpose eventually kind of bleeds into this concept of like free will, also, because if you're ultimately free, and you're free to choose anything that you, at any moment, to do anything, then the sort of direction that you go in should be a sort of weight on your shoulders. By reformulating the idea of purpose to mean whatever you're doing in the moment, I mean, all we really are is what's occurring in the moment. Like at any given time, that's all that really matters, is what's in the moment. And you can take, like, this place, like the Palace of Fine Arts, or if you've never been here, just imagine any sort of like national monument, unique national monument, like the Mount Rushmore, or I guess in Seattle maybe like the Space Needle, or the Eiffel Tower, or the pyramids, or things like that, where the primary architect, if his purpose deviates on any given day for far too much, if he's not living in the moment his purpose, which he has decided and with conviction made it to build these amazing sort of sculptures and landmarks, if he's not living his purpose day to day, moment to moment, nothing will come of it. If the guy that built this museum or the Palace of Fine Arts one day decided that his moment to moment purpose would not be to build this place, but to go to McDonald's and eat two cheeseburger meals, and then the next time he decided his purpose was to leave this place, and he never wanted to come back, things like this would never get built. So what really evolves from this sort of mental mind frame where every moment is your purpose on Earth, you kind of begin to feel the weight of your existence. Even though sort of defining purpose in this way puts a sort of a heavier burden on your shoulders, because you realize that at any moment you're sort of determining your purpose, it almost makes it easier in a lot of ways and a lot more manageable. Because instead of thinking of purpose as this sort of like grandiose design or grandiose scheme that you have to come up with and live, it's just a matter of choosing what you want to do at any given moment. So today, I chose to make my purpose to make this video. I did other things too, by the way. I worked out, read some books, and I'm probably going to do some reading today. I did a load of laundry. And even though there's like this heavy burden of purpose, I'm not saying not to enjoy your life. Like, it's not like I intend for my purpose never to be to go watch a movie I want to see, or to spend time with someone I want to spend time with, or to go swimming or whatever. But you should be thinking about what you want your purpose to be at any given moment, and really think about the way you're orienting your life. If you, like, there was a point in my life when I realized I was spending a lot of time sort of dwelling on something that I really shouldn't. And it was eating up all my time, and all that time my purpose was sort of dwelling on that, thinking about it, when I could have been thinking about other things, thinking about sort of the grander purpose, like what I wanted my purpose to be in the future, sort of living in this way and putting this lofty burden of purpose on your shoulders. And whether you end up just sort of deciding what your purpose is. And this kind of makes it easier to give your life a general direction, because if you are living in the moment and you are living with a purpose that you ultimately sort of agree with, or you ultimately embrace, you're eventually going to live a life that you really want to live. But if you find yourself in any given moment sort of like, and if you stop and reflect and you go, I don't want this to be my purpose, I don't want this to be me, then it kind of opens the door up to, what do you want your purpose to be? What do you want to be doing on any given moment? And it doesn't really mean that, like, let's say I'm like folding my laundry, and I'm like, you know what, I don't want my purpose to be folding this laundry, so I'm just going to go sit on my couch and put up my feet or something. It's not really like that. Like, I mean, you still have to have the big picture in mind. You still have to think ahead. But sort of reformulating it like that, there's things that people do that don't really go in either direction. Like, they're not really for the past, they're not healing for the past, and they're not for any benefit in the future. And I guess entertainment kind of falls in that. Dude, I love entertainment, like playing a game of pool, or playing some video games, or watching a movie, or reading a book, a fictional book. I mean, that's in the moment enjoyment, sensory stimulation, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I guess in closing, like, the overall message by thinking about purpose this way is really sort of, one, zeroing in on what it means to live with purpose, to live with a purpose in mind. The real hard part isn't actually learning how to live with purpose and understanding what purpose is. The real hard part is actually deciding what you want your purpose to be. And I'm just going to kind of leave that here for you to decide on your own. Alright, so I just had to jog down here real quick, down by the water, to experience the last few moments of summer. Looking at my watch here, it's going to be just a few seconds away, and summer will be over and autumn will have begun. A few last words for summer. Let's see here. This is probably one of the best summers I've ever had, as far as insight, as far as growth. I
started one person and came out a complete different person. Completely amazing. Some last words. Live, love, and minimize suffering. And now I must wait a few seconds. Not quite on cue here. Okay, there we go. Now it's autumn. The sun right now is directly over the equator. It happens 2 times a year. Alright, I'm going to show you a parting shot of the water here. See some reflection, some boats. I think this autumn's going to be a good one. I got a lot of cool things in the works. But you are just going to have to wait and see. Alright.